for today from the book Seeds of Happiness. Today's story is from chapter 3, part 2, page 56. Are you forcing yourself always to play the part of a nice person? That's pointless and will merely tire you out. We wear masks because we want to be thought well of by those around us. Clearly, we cannot live without some concern for how other people regard us. But it is extremely dangerous to think that the self as reflected in the eyes of others is the whole of one's existence. The reason is that it is by no means the case that the mirror of the eyes of others accurately views and rightly evaluates yourself. The eyes of others are distorting mirrors that keep changing depending on the other person's convenience. The celebrated 15th century Zen monk Ikkyu wrote the poem, "Today they praise, tomorrow they'll attack. The mouths of men, whether they weep or smile, are of this lying world." As the poem suggests, someone may always have told you what a fine person you are, and yet when things get rough, he may abruptly change his attitude and speak ill of you. "I didn't realize he was that kind of person. I was taken in." That's the way people are. Certainly, we often hear comments like, "He's a good person," or "He's a bad person." But the basis of such remarks is usually the speaker's own convenience or self-interest. A person who is helpful to one will seem like a good person, and a person who causes problems for us will seem like a bad person. There is a story about the heroic French leader Napoleon receiving the applause of a crowd of people standing before him. One of his subordinates exclaimed, "Just look at how the people praise you, Your Excellency." Napoleon's response was, "There's nothing so unreliable as the people's praises. If I lose one war, they will be shouting, 'Send him to the guillotine.'" Thus, people speak words of praise and encouragement when things are going well for another person. But when things begin to go badly for him, they do an about face and criticize him relentlessly. Such is the reality of the mirror of the eyes of others. Therefore, the fact that you have been spoken ill of and criticized by others does not necessarily mean that you are bad. It may simply mean that your actions happen to be unhelpful or inconvenient for the persons who have criticized you. Or to take the opposite case, it is dangerous to be too elated at one's own abilities, even when praised by those around you. It may simply be that your actions happen to be helpful or convenient for the persons who have praised you. If you become a source of inconvenience or trouble to them, their view of you will change entirely. "So he was that bad a person, huh? We were taken in by him." We must not be taken in by other people's evaluation of you. Of course, the desire to be well thought of by those around you is itself a good and important thing because it motivates you to try to do good. Nonetheless, the attempt to force yourself always to play the part of a nice person is pointless and will merely tire you out. You may try skillfully to keep on top of the ever-turning ball that is the eyes of others, but you never know when you might fall off, and that leads to anxiety and fatigue. There is a proverb, "A pig that is praised remains a pig, and a lion that is reviled remains a lion." So always remember that whether you are praised or censured by those around you, your value as a person does not change in the least. And there is an illustration on the next page about saying different people see me in all kinds of ways depending on their situation. So somebody might call this rabbit as Miss Please Everyone or that troublemaker. Someone might say, oh, she's kind, she's a good person, I love her. But I'm still just me. So, regardless of what people tell us about who they think we are, if we learn Buddhism through and through and we become completely grounded in who we truly are, if we come face to face to see our true self, the unchanging self, then what happens is that even if people say something too good about us, we don't get too elated. Of course, we feel happy because we all have desire for respect and recognition. We feel happy, but we don't allow it to take over us. And even if people criticize us or say something nasty to us, we don't identify with it too much either. Although we can use it, if more than two or three people say the same criticism against us, we need to pay attention. If it's something within us that we need to correct, obviously we will correct. And because we are always trying to improve ourselves more and more, we believe in spiritual growth, not stagnation. So there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, because our true self is being revealed to us more and more, we will not be too depressed when people criticize us or say something unpleasant to us. So that's the beauty of walking this spiritual path. We become more secure as we go forward and uh, less influenced by what people say, but what happens around us. And we can enjoy that kind of a headspace, which is called the unshakable spirit, knowing our true self and the joy of being alive. That is such a rare blessing. Yeah. So good job, everyone, for being here, practicing together. Today is Wednesday, so we're going to have the Karma Lab at 5 p.m. and have a beautiful Wednesday. Bye.